Community, help us do your will tonight. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Terry Brady. Bruce Wood.
Here.
Alan Moore.
Here.
Jimmy Clark. Not here. Okay, minutes. Trying to put it on your signature just by itself, so. Is that why I can't get it on the spot? Yes, sir? Okay. Did you send it to Greg's, to the? Okay, all right, thanks, sir. Okay, appreciate it, bye-bye. Would you see if that should be coming to you?
I'm watching right now.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys, I've got to get a bid sheet in for them, I don't take the phone call usually. Okay, we have a motion, or y'all still looking, I'm sorry, I got on there.
Make a motion to pass the February 16th.
Have a motion to accept,
Council meeting?
Mr. Moore, seconded. All in favor, roll call. Terry Brady. Chris Wood. Alan Moore. All in favor. Okay, financials.
Billy. This is Jimmy. He's still at work, but he's coming this way.
Okay.
This is our way of keeping corruption at a minimum.
All right. Did you see that?
You hear me? Trent? Tell Jimmy this is our way of keeping corruption at a minimum. We only got 3 out of 4 here.
All right.
Getting that started.
I'm messing with you.
January, financial, actually balance sheet, but anyway. After I put that.
I'm dyslexic. Bottom line's on the front.
Yes. I didn't see it, but I didn't finish it. Yeah. The most part I've already seen.
Street fund, because the state was unhappy with the work on the gentleman sidewalk, they have not given us our 2 last percentage of returns on those jobs. That should all be happy, the guy should be about through, he's not through today. Then we send in the next pay estimate, state release our money back. And our engineer suggested we wanted very strongly, we pay the contractor to get his work straightened out, and he have got back, got his work straightened out, but we haven't got, Brenda, that's right, the last 2 pay estimates, we paid all of our part to the contractor. We haven't got our percentage back from the highway department. So that's why you're looking so rough in the street department. That should come back.
How much is coming back roughly?
About $300,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So your street department's looking real rough right now because the highway department says, oh, well, we got to get him back, it's not, for us not to give y'all the money. I said, we gotta pay him. He said, we're gonna hold y'all's money back, so. The highway department's held our money on the last two pay requests. So that should be, there'll be a final pay estimate to him, and we'll get, then once that comes through, then the state will send all their money back to us, and our county will be back working on us.
As Chris was just noting to me a while ago, this really, we went over this here like a couple, 3 weeks ago, most of it, on all this. And there's not any irregularities that
I just want y'all to know that this,
the whole thing's on the front page, really, the summary.
I just want y'all to know on the street fund, that money will be coming back when we get, and supposedly the, Eford has been down with the gentleman and didn't do a walkthrough with the engineer, but he walked through with the contractor, and Eford's happy. The Eford's happy, highway department's happy. So, Eford is your inspector from the highway department that has to give final graces on all that. So, and he's been down and the contractor knows if Eford don't do the sign off, he's gotta come back, so. But he got him down without the engine, without our engineer, Eford come down and did a walkthrough with him. So,
I make a motion, we approve this, move on.
I'll second.
January 24th financials, we have a motion and a second to accept, roll call.
Terry Brady. Chris Wood.
Aye.
Alan Moore. All in favor?
Okay, the next one is kind of tying into the water department. Right, Brenda, this financial statement, it's got the general fund and the water department
General
balance.
fund, street, and the water. The auditors require us to post it. It's a concise report of what your end of the year balance sheet was.
So the 2023 financial statement, that's a real condensed report that the state's requiring us to file, or to vote on. There's all your funds and everything, it's a two-page sheet.
I put it on the webpage and I put it in the Glenwood Herald because the auditor requires us to put it in our newspaper. But I'm gonna ask her when she audits, can I just put it on the webpage so we don't have to pay that bill anymore? But I have to wait and get her blessings on it.
That's basically where the city stood as of the end of 23. Okay, I have a motion to accept the short, there's just a two-page version of it, but that's what we're required to publish with everybody. But that's from the auditor on through December 31st, 2023. Have a motion, have
I'll
a second.
second.
Roll call.
Alan Moore. Chris Wood.
Aye.
Terry Brady. All in favor?
Your next thing you have in front of you is the audit of the 2022 water and sewer audit. This is their audit, and that will be tied in with the state audit. The state does not audit, we have to pay a firm to audit the water and sewer department, and then the state gives its blessings on that. So if you look in, if you go on the lower up, on the webpage on the state auditor, when you approve Glenwood, then you've got the 2022 audit in there, they'll give their blessing on that at a later time, unless there's something they don't like, or something they don't like from the auditor, they'll send it back.
Y'all do have to vote to accept it.
Right.
Before you send it to
So we need to accept this is audit from, Turner, Rodgers, Manning, and Plyler on the water department for 2022.
Well, you got your fingers in a little thing.
I don't even know this Plyler. He may be kin to me, but I don't know him, but anyway.
I was just-
And he is actually not doing our audit, he was doing our audit, but now he's turned it over to, which one?
Rodgers.
Rodgers is will be doing the city's audit, not the Plyler.
I was just giving you a hard time there.
This is actually his audit for the water department for the year 2022. We're gonna have to approve him to do the 23 audit next, but this is the audit for 2022 on the water and sewer only. Then the state auditor, when she does general fund, street fund, everything else, they'll look at this and stamp their blessings on it. Or if they don't like something they see in the audit, they'll tell them to go back and give them some more information. So this audit, the water and sewer is actually audited by a different auditor, and then the state just does a quick look over on it. If they don't like something on it, they can make them go back and do something. If they like it, they'll stamp it. Water department's actually audited deeper than the general fund and the street fund and all that. It's a deeper audit than what the state does.
On our page 10, our net cash flow from operating activities was up 200,000. Is that due to what? Inflation, due to what? From 22 to 21, on page 10.
You're up.
Not 200,000, 180,000.
Your operating income was up from 21 to 22. $200,000.
Right, net cash, was the net cash flow from operating activities.
Is up from 1,000,007 to 1,900,000.
You're up 230, whatever.
Yeah, that's right, 234,
Yeah,
correct.
you're up, your income, your operating
What's
income.
that from?
It's gonna be your sales tax and your water and sewer revenue.
Okay. So that's, part of that is gonna be, if I'm not mistaken, is gonna be the increase which was intelligently put into it back many years ago. A little bit of it's that, a little bit of it's just different things, just kind of going with the cost of living. Am I right or wrong?
The increase on that, if you look at your water and sewer increase, even though you had the sales tax increase, most of this increase is in sales tax. It's not in revenue, right, Brenda? If you go back and really get into depth of studying this, with the 5%, you didn't have even though you put a 5% rate increase in, you didn't have a 5% income in revenue. The income is from sales tax.
You were up $100,000 in sales.
Yeah, well, I guess my point is, if you're collecting 10 cents on a dollar, and then all of a sudden that thing that cost you $1 costs you $2, you're collecting 20 cents on $10. You'd be on $2, you'd be collecting 20 cents. So I guess what I mean is inflation started climbing right along in this time pretty good, and anyway, it's a good thing, is what I'm pointing out. Might be collecting the same amount of sales tax, but you're collecting on more money. Maybe some way.
Well, the sales tax, the reason it's going up, your internet sales are starting to pay sales tax, and even though what that's been hitting about 3 years, I wasn't here on the council when that actually started hitting so heavy. It's been about 3 years, and there's companies that are just now getting online paying sales tax. So, I don't know how long you're gonna keep seeing an increase of sales tax, but the big deal is all the companies are getting caught and they're having to pay sales tax on internet sales back to the cities. And that revenue is still coming up because there's little companies, I mean, Google and all those people have been paying now for about 3 years. But everybody else that wasn't paying is getting caught and is catching up, and I don't know how far we are in that.
But I get you.
I don't know how to give you an answer on that, because I don't know, internet sales, I don't know who's paying sales tax. Everybody's supposed to be paying sales tax, and if they're not, when they get caught, they're having to go back and pay the sales tax. So your internet sales tax has been a big boost to your sales tax revenue.
Page 18 says, the summary of auditor's results. The auditor's report expressed an unqualified opinion on the financial status of Glenwood Water and Sewer Department, the department. For instance, no significant deficiencies or material weaknesses were disclosed during the audit of the financial statements. That's good. No instance of non-compliance material to the financial statements of the department were disclosed during the audit. That's good. Findings on the financial statement, none. Findings and question cost, none. Looks like whoever's doing the bookkeeping, which I'm assuming comes back to Brenda, been doing a really good job of keeping the accounts separate.
Make a motion to approve the 2022 water and sewer department audit.
Motion to accept the water and sewer audit for December 31st of 2022. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Chris Floyd. Terry Brady. All in favor?
I need a motion to accept, unless y'all wanna do a different firm, make a motion that y'all accept Turner, Rodgers, Manning, and Plyler to do the 2023 audit on the water and sewer. It's just a motion to accept them to do it. And if y'all wanna look at somebody else, you need to start
Well,
looking.
these are the ones that just got through.
Doing the 2022.
Yeah, they look like
If y'all,
they're
and if y'all don't like this firm, y'all need to be looking for somebody else and get them next year, not on the 2023 audit. We don't have time to get another firm to do a
I'll make
2023
that
audit.
motion. Yeah.
I'll second it.
A motion and a second to accept Turner, Rodgers, Manning, and Plyler to do the 2023 financial audit on the water and sewer department.
Chris Floyd.
Aye.
Terry Brady.
Aye.
Al Moore. All in favor?
Brenda, does that get,
Y'all did do the motion to accept the
Yeah.
person audit, and now you've done a motion to accept
Accept them
them, okay.
for
That's it.
2020.
that's everything, that's 5, 6, and 7.
You did look at that? Yeah, actually put the description of it again.
Okay, the bond report that I printed off for y'all last month, it's 30 pages long. I didn't print it and put it in your packet, I didn't print it and put it online. It's just the same audit from the company that's collecting the sales tax now. They're sending a monthly report. It's about 30 pages long, telling you the income and all that of the water and sewer audit.
What's this engagement letter? I'm
The
sorry.
engagement letter, Brenda, that got the engagement letter.
Both that did? They letting them do it?
Yes, I gotta sign that, right? I need to sign your copy of that.
Do we have to make two separate motions for that?
We don't have to have, there's 2 lines on the agenda, that's all in one, I just need to do the signature. You can get out of my packet tomorrow and put it back in my packet.
Right down there.
Okay. All right, you're gonna keep that.
I'll keep this one.
Okay, I got this one. The bond report that we're talking about, if y'all remember last month, I gave you, that was the first month, we got one from the new company that's handling the city's bonds. It just tells you how much money come in and went out. That's gonna be in your financials, in your water and sewer report every month anyway. That's an extra set of paperwork that we haven't got. Do y'all want that included in your minutes every month? It's about 30 pages long. Y'all looking at it? If you want it, It's just a set, I included it last month because we hadn't seen one. But it's not any different than what we were doing with the other bonding company. But I gave you the numbers because it took them a couple of months to get the money back in. That was a big variance last
I'm
month.
not saying I necessarily would like to have a 30-page report, or can you just give us the numbers?
It's gonna be in your water and sewer budget, report every month.
I'm fine, I'm with him, cause I'm gonna tell you, that, when we was going through all that other stuff, you sit there and you get bogged down in that stuff.
It's gonna be in your numbers.
It's available if you have questions anyway.
If you want the long report, it's available, but the short report's gonna be in your financials on the water and sewer.
Usually it is, right?
The income's gonna be there. It's
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
it's just, that's where it derives from, and I wanted you to see that last month because it held it for 3 months,
The
right?
legal writing is
I have a
worthless.
book in my office that I'm keeping up with it
Yeah.
in, and the division, I'm keeping up with it, so if they need to look at that, they can come.
Y'all are welcome to look at that. The income is gonna be in your financials on the water, sewer, and street every month anyway.
Yes.
If you wanna look at that wrong report of where those numbers are coming from, it's in that report. We never did look at that before with the other company, but it was,
Yeah.
that money moved, and then they kept it all for 3 months. And it got scary to me because we weren't getting any of it. And when she said it, that's why I wanted y'all to see that all come. But now it'll all balance down and be just like it was, and it's gonna be in your income. The reason I wanted that report last month is you didn't see the income for 3 months. And now then, the income's back, like it's coming in every month like it's supposed to be, and it'll be in your monthly. So if y'all are okay with that, I'm just gonna have Brenda put that in the book. It'll be in your financials. The dollar amount will be in your financials. If you wanna leave the long report of it, it'll be in Brenda's office if anybody wants to read it. We're not hiding anything from anybody, I just don't see any need to print a 30-page report. And it's in your financials, okay? It'll be the water, sewer, and street. And then we break it out, the 1 cent tax that goes to split up, we're breaking out, and Brenda breaks that down, like it's 8% that goes to, parks and 5, don't quote me on the numbers, but it's like 5% that goes to the dogs and whatever to the streets. She's just breaking those percentages up like we always have, and those are dropping down in those accounts. Okay? Do I have permission to jump down to number 17? These ladies would like to get going. We'll have some other discussion on resolution,
Thank you, Ryan.
if you don't mind, we're gonna drop down to item 17, resolution 2403. Ryan, you wanna read that?
Sure, I'd love to read it. Be it resolved by the City Council of Glenwood, State of Arkansas, a resolution entitled Application for Improvements to the Park, a resolution authorizing the mayor of Glenwood to apply for a grant on behalf of the City of Glenwood. Whereas the City of Glenwood City Council has determined that the City of Glenwood meets eligibility requirements necessary to apply for the grant under the Arkansas Rural Community Grant Program. And whereas Glenwood has presented plans to update the park, and whereas the City Council of Glenwood recognizes the need for the project, concerns its importance, and supports the City of Glenwood in its efforts to proceed the same. And whereas the City of Glenwood has furnished proof that they have raised $15,000 through community cash and /or in-kind donations to be applied to the project as a local match. Be it further resolved that the mayor of Glenwood is hereby authorized to submit an application, a formal request to the Arkansas Rural Development Commission for the purpose of securing state grant funds in the amount of $15,000 to aid and assist of the City of Glenwood in exceeding the purpose project described herein, as the mayor of Glenwood is further authorized to administer the grant funds for the same project. This is resolution 2403.
I would like to say, just for the record, whenever we got here to start doing our grants, it's one of the smartest ways we've made in a long time, because that's, the way it's structured. The more grants you find us, the more money you make, perfect scenario. Is that right?
And we're not making anything off of this one.
Right, I'm not saying you are on this one, but I'm saying in
Yeah.
general, it's in your best interest as it is in our best interest. A lot of times stuff goes unnoticed. So, I personally do appreciate Cause we've got, when our asphalt grant, our sidewalk stuff, and our, I mean, you can go on and on, we've got several grants that we would probably not have otherwise, they would either been ineffectively filled in, or they would got tangled up in the legal part of it, so thank you for doing your job, is all I'm saying.
All right. We'll discuss, the council knows, we're trying to get this money to go with our other $100,000 grant. We're gonna discuss it before we got down here, but they need to get somewhere else, and we'll discuss it more. This $15,000 has to be a match, and that would be the money that we set back for the reserve for the, that was gonna put in the parks this year, it'd be $30,000. If you look at just the playground equipment, roughly, this is the undermat for the playground equipment. He just said it's just $46,000, so you're not getting a lot of playground. We need somewhere between $125,000 and $150,000, and we're gonna try to, we discuss it, hopefully we can do some fundraisers, do some other stuff to get some money, because the city don't have that. If we don't get that much, we'll have to cut the playground equipment back to what we, when we draw a line and add, and say, okay, we're ready to put it out to bid, this is how much money we got. This would give us approximately $130,000 for that equipment, which would make a fairly nice little park, not anything super big, but that's what this money would go in with the $100,000 grant that we've got approved, if we get it. And so that's what we're trying to do, is get some more money to go with that. Everybody understand what we're doing, and we'll discuss. Karen knows what's going on. If anybody in the audience wants to ask some of this, we're gonna discuss this more in a minute on parks and all that stuff, but they need to get going. Has anybody got a question for Karen and them? If there's not, do I have entertain a motion to accept resolution 2403?
Not making any comments, Judge.
Do I have a second? Roll call.
Gary Brady, Chris Ford,
Aye.
Alan Moore.
You need to make a copy of this for her, so I can have my copy. You want this also, don't you?
Yes.
Is that also item number 16 and 17 combined, I'm assuming?
Yeah. That's what you wanted on
Yes,
him.
that's what I have to have.
You need that, you need this, you need all three of these.
Yes.
Brenda, would you make our copies? Or would you, Greg, you make our copies of it, please? You got two more sheets, or is that the one you got? There's a letter and I have it back here. There's a letter and something else. Did she give you a copy of that? She did not get you a copy of that.
Bills.
I'll get you a copy of that. We're going to make some extra copies, an extra set of copies, two extra copies of that. All right, while he's coming back with that, as I said before, I'm gonna show you what, with all the work we got going on, I wanna show you what we're doing each, month. Jenkins gravel, the clarifier at the water plant, the main gearbox is out in it. He has pulled the gearbox and tore it apart, and believe it or not, 3 bearings in that gearbox are $7,245.27 for 3 bearings. That's what's out in it. Those bearings are ordered. He has not got that put back together yet. The bearings are due in any day, so he had to pay for them.
Did it spun the races and mess the casings up or not?
There's some gear speed bearings and some real weird looking bearings, and there's 3 different manufacturers to make this all match up in there. But he's got them all found, got them all ordered. But that bill for $8,000 is the labor to pull the gearbox out, tear it apart. And the $7,245 is for the 3 bearings. That's not gonna be the labor to put it back together and put it in. All right,
That's the one you called us about the other day.
yeah, and it's, okay. The next one that you see there, that's all the work we're continuing to do on the lift stations. We're just about, all the pumps at all the lift stations are in except for the pump at the, industrial park. And you'll see a bill on that from Tencarva. The pump is in, but it's not installed yet. He's putting transducers, when we get all this stuff in, he's gonna come up here and show you how we're gonna be able to operate these lift stations and be able to adjust them on the phone and do a bunch of work. He's getting, all that work put in. We are not complete on it, but he's just about complete on everything. So I need y'all to vote on those two tickets for Jenkins, one for $13,000 and one for $8,000. Do y'all have any questions on, is that broke down? Y'all wanted his list broke down more. Than
Let's do it, yeah.
Is that itemized more like you wanted?
Yeah.
You got mine?
Yes, you need the originals.
Okay, this is mine. Okay.
And I think Brent, aren't you the one that attests these, or?
Could you do that?
Okay.
Did you have an extra one or you
Yeah, the resolution, I think,
Who wants one?
the original signature on it, but.
Ron
No,
can't
that's
have
mine.
that.
Or, this is Ryan's. You can get that. Okay, you can have it.
I know my book for these days.
Both of us can.
Thank you very much.
And just sign my card. The certification letter, and then, yeah. I've got the original.
There's these two.
Yeah, this one, and certification letter, and this one. Can I give you an update on the application that was submitted to CDBG on the sewer project?
Yes, ma'am.
We had a meeting last week with the grant manager with the EDC, and we asked about our sewer, application, which we were told that our LMI survey was really good. It's been sitting on the governor's desk for 3 weeks now, and until she signs it, we're not gonna know anything. So we don't know who's been awarded and who has not until she puts the pen to paper. And we're hoping it'll be before the 12th of April, because if we don't get it, we can resubmit on 12th April, okay?
That would be nice because we busted on our LMI again this month. We had a 1.16 or for February in chlorines, which is too high, but I'm fine with that. I didn't have any pickles going out in the river. I'm happy if we get a little bit, but some of the equipment that TJ's putting in, they're gonna be able to regulate that flow of chlorine and dechlor from their phone at the house, and they watch that number and they can start playing with it instead of once a day. They can, but that's not installed yet, but we're working on getting there. Are y'all cool with, y'all have disproved Jenkins? I just wanna have a $13,000 bill and an $8,000 bill.
I'll make a motion to approve Jenkins, we already, I mean, I personally, I was already aware of it.
All this y'all know about. I haven't done anything without telling you. Have a motion, second? Roll call.
Terry Brady, Chris Fuller, Alan Moore, all in favor.
Tencarva, that's some check valves that went in, the 4-inch check valves were at Dr. Feelgood's. So that's what those went to. That's some parts besides the pumps that went up there. And that 3-phase submerged pump is the pump that is for, industrial park. Pumps in, the TJ got put in. But we just got the pump in. When did that pump come in? It just come in
Yesterday.
yesterday, so it just came in. That's what the 2 Tencarva invoices are for. Y'all please approve those. We're spending a lot of money. That should be, that is, as far as I know, except for some sensiphone stuff, I think all the parts are bought to get all the pump stations back in shape. And, then that's got the parts for the, clarifier are paid for. We have a problem with the new 125 horse motor that was put in right at the end of Billy's. Did y'all do that right at the end of Billy's term as mayor, when you put that big 125 horse motor in at the water plant, the high service pump motor? They have not come down to look at it, but it's started leaking oil one day last week, and we're hoping that's still in warranty.
I think so.
It was before I was.
Yeah, it's one of them higher dollar ones.
Yeah, it's a high dollar one.
Right, it seemed like maybe.
20 grand. I don't know,
I
I
don't know
don't
about
know.
the time you got done out the door.
What's the warranty on it, do we know?
We don't know. I don't, TJ's called them and they have not called him back. The motor it may be fine. It may just need a seal pull. We quit running the pump until we find out. We're not gonna burn a pump up.
Yeah.
And that's a good operator. He started leaking oil and he shut it down. But that motor is a problem. The blow-off valve that's been out for 2.5 years on the number 1 filter, number 2 filter, we got put in it finally came in after 2.5 years. Valve finally came in, we finally got that in. That's gonna make the water operator be able to help a whole lot, because when you backwash a filter, and the filter's clean, you turn the filter back on, you wanna waste that water while the filter fills up the first time. With that valve out, we couldn't waste the water, it went right into the clear well. And now we can waste that water. Water quality hasn't been an issue, but this is really gonna help him even more, get that cleaned up. That piece is put in. Y'all wanna approve the Tencarva?
Make a motion to approve them.
Okay. Tencarva has 2 invoices, have a motion approved.
I'll second.
All in favor? Roll call.
Terry Brady, Chris Wood,
Aye.
Alan Moore,
Uh,
all in favor.
All right, the next one is CG3 excavation. The gentleman that did our water line on First Street is getting out of doing water line work, and he wanted to sell some equipment. I called all of y'all before we did it. He had a 72-inch bush hog going on these skid steer we got, a street broom, a grapple, and a set of forks for $14,300. That particular skid steer is almost, that brush cutter is almost 20 grand for that, if you bought it new. And Brett, what's the condition of all that equipment?
It's all in good
It
work.
almost looks new.
Yeah,
Some of the
most
stuff
of it
doesn't look
is
like
new.
it's been put on, but, that's what y'all approved me to go get it, go and see it. It's at the water plant, that y'all vote for that, cause it's 14. I talked to all of you, y'all knew what it was, but you approved the $14,300 purchase on that. That's all used, it's used, but not very used.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Motion is second to accept the, equipment we bought from G3J Excavation. Roll call.
Terry Brady, Chris Wood,
Aye.
Alan Moore, all in favor.
We've got 3 memorandums of agreement, and I don't know why this one, the first one we're gonna do, hasn't already been, I thought it already approved it. I got paperwork on it, so we're gonna approve it again, because the job's already finished. The bridge job, where we got the ARPA money to pay the $100,000 on the project that y'all had already done 4 years ago. This is just approving a memorandum of agreement between us and the engineer to do the work complete. I would appreciate if y'all would approve, agreement number 02336-CW-L, project number 23067.
I'll make that motion.
Have a second.
Point's kinda moved, it's a little late to disprove it, ain't it?
Gotta approve it.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Terry Brady, Chris Wood,
Aye.
Alan Moore, all in favor.
Now then, the water and sewer project that we have been working on for 2 years, and there's a whole big mess going on with all that with the state right now. They released us as of March the 4th to proceed with the engineering to get the water and sewer project out to bid, and to get the 1.75% interest that they're promised us, we have to have a contractor working by July 31st, which is an impossible step to meet. But we gotta enter into a memorandum of agreement with our engineer to start working on this, and then we're gonna fight the battle of financing as we move on down the road. I have talked to our senator, Terry Rice and me are good friends. We've gone back 30 years, and I called and talked to Terry, and he said, let me call the head of natural resource, and he said, he gonna call you. And I called, Terry called him, and he called me yesterday, and we talked for probably 45 minutes. And he said, the big fat truth with you, Billy, he said, we're trying to get all the ARPA money signed up and get under construction by July 31st. Y'all's job ain't looking at it, but your standard deadline that we have to it's gotta be done by July 31st. He said, we're not backing off of that right now, but he said, we're not looking at that job right now, because we gotta get the ARPA money, which ARPA money, Amity's got a bunch of ARPA money that they're trying to do with their project. Our ARPA money was the bridge project, but that money has to be finished, and they got 2 years, that money goes back to the federal government. We went on talking, and he said, well, I don't understand what your problem is. We just want a commitment that y'all are gonna do the job and be complete in 3 years. Well, so I got off the phone with him from talking with him and going to Andy. And he said, Billy, that's not what he's telling us, but he said, that's exactly the way we have always done every natural resource project until now. And he said, that's not the guidelines they're telling us. They're telling us right now, and it's saying that but this application is saying we're gonna start work by July 31st next year. They're not gonna approve that with just a little rock, but Andy we gotta get the paperwork signed so the engineer can go to work on us. Because legally, he can't go to work and do anything on these projects until we get these approved. So, with that being said, the head gentleman at Natural Resource said, real quiet, he said, probably going to be some compromise here. He wouldn't say anything other than that. So there may be some problem with not on the getting the money, but the interest we pay on the money may vary, and it may not vary. Is that a real good way to bring it to y'all? Because nobody knows right now. But the state is asked an impossible task of 250 cities they released in March. And all 250 cities have got to get engineers, get all the work done, get the bids out, bids in, have a contractor working so he can make a first draw by July 31st. These plans got to go into Little Rock and get approved first. And it's taking Little Rock 60 days to 90 days to get them back from there. These are dates that are not going to be met. But if they will let us come back in and sign a commitment, I told the guy yesterday, I said, Glenwood will sign a commitment for the money that we'll be complete in 3 years. That's not a problem on either one of them. But the start date of July the 31st, being having contractors working, is not a possible date. But we need to approve the memorandum of agreement for the water project and for the sewer project. There's two different ones. One's for water, one's for sewer. And just knowing that the interest rate is an argument right now. It may not be a problem, but it could be, okay? I don't like to bring you something like that, but I don't know what else to tell you. We still gonna have to do the projects. Every city in the state is under the same
Let me break this down as I heard you. Basically, the state's making us do a certain thing, but the guidelines they set forth are incomprehensive. I mean, you can't comprehend the guidelines set forth because they're not doable. But they'll wind up, what ultimately probably wind up changing in the end is they will say, okay, this is not conceivable to do this, so we're gonna kick this 6 months to give them a little bit of time or whatever. If we don't get in the pack, we wind up falling out. But if we get in the pack and they do extend it or make some kind of compromise, at least we're already in the pack. So, did I miss anything much? But the information's a little sketchy, but we gotta do it one way or the other anyway.
The only thing that's sketchy, it was sketchy period, because if you didn't take it to the deadline date, you lost your funding source.
Right, we can't.
They've already backed off of that.
Okay,
The funding source is there.
okay,
That's not gonna be in question. The interest rate is the argument.
okay,
And we don't know how that'll affect anything, we don't know, and we may still get it for 1.75.
right,
Because he said before we got through, two things that when I talked to Andy about, Andy said if you'll do what he told you to do, you'll have no problem, because we'll commit that we'll have the projects finished within 3 years. Because that's always been a stipulation when you took natural resource money, you had 3 years to get complete, and they didn't give you a have-to start date. So,
can we give an, I mean, is this even an option, can we, could we give an approval contingent upon an interest rate then or thereabouts what we think it's gonna be? Could we do something like that?
well, what we need to do is approve these agreements for the engineer to start working, and y'all will have to agree on the interest rate before we thing moves
Okay,
forward.
so we
That,
got,
that's not a decision we gotta make tonight, even though it was promised 1.75, if it comes back at 1.75, y'all still gonna have to approve it. If it comes back at 2 or 2.5 or 3, just because we give a memorandum of agreement for the engineer to start work, it's gotta be brought back to you guys to approve the projects.
Okay.
These projects ain't going anywhere till y'all approve them,
we
because
got
there's a
another
whole
shot
bunch.
at the apple.
Well, you got, who's our attorney? And that big stack of paperwork they bring down,
Yes, sir.
huh?
Dustin?
Friday Eldridge Clark.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. They'll bring the paperwork down and they'll go over all this, and y'all are gonna, remember how we voted on all that to redo the bond? You're gonna do the same thing on both these jobs. When we get there. Also on the sewer project, if you look at everything, I gave you 5 pages of what is the first proposal. We cannot replace all the sewer mains for the money we got, don't need to. We're out looking at everything in green. And I gotta give the engineer an answer of where that's what we wanna replace or not. My priority with the gentlemen, with our city crews of what's in green, is it tread pipe or is it clay pipe that's gonna be replaced? If it's PVC pipe, we're gonna have to go back and look at it. A lot of this got PVC pipe in it, so a lot of this is not gonna be work you do. Because it's got PVC pipe in it, the manhole's fine, there's no need to replace it right now. We had to have a starting point of what would work. If we did everything that's in the green, we're supposed to be in the money. But if we don't do part of this, we can move to another part that could be another problem.
So this is not set in stone?
No, this is the starting work.
That's what I was looking over.
Yeah, this is nowhere set in stone. We've got to get, in the city crews, I've got them working on these 5 pages, they'll be through with that tomorrow, and we'll tell the engineer we can start on that part of it, and then never have any more feet of pipe. And then, when we get to the end of that, if we don't need to borrow the full amount of money to do this project, we haven't got as much pipe to be replaced, we won't borrow the full amount of money. Does that make sense? Okay, any other questions on memorandum of agreements?
Looks like we don't have no choice, to me, it looks like we don't have no choice but to make a motion to approve the MOA and start it moving in the right direction, and then there's a spot or two where we could check back if we have to.
That's correct.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Make one motion for the water, and a second, then we need to make one for the sewer project.
Alan made a motion for the sewer,
No second.
for a second.
Roll
Terry Brady,
call.
Jimmy Clark.
I just walked in, I don't know, sorry.
Chris Fuller,
Aye.
Alan Moore. Waiting on Jimmy Clark.
All right, do I have a, motion to accept the memorandum of agreement on the water project?
I'll make it motion.
I have a motion, do I have a second? This is work we've already approved, you just got to get a memorandum of agreement signed so the engineer can legally go to work on it.
I'll do it.
And a second by Alan.
Terry Brady,
Aye.
Chris Fuller,
Aye.
Alan Moore. Jimmy Clark. All in favor?
Next thing on the agenda is something y'all need to tell me, if some of y'all have talked to me about wanting to try to do some paving this year. I talked to, Rock Creek that did the work last year. He wants somewhere between $200,000 and $300,000 worth of work for it to be justified for him to move the equipment down here. he will come price it and price it just like last year's, bid that he did the work for on the state bid. The two roads that have been brought to my attention, now, we already have a grant application in to do County Line Road in First Street. So we don't wanna bother those. Those won't be done this year, they'll be done next year. Because we should get the grant. Brenda, wasn't there like 3 applications is all they didn't fund? So we'll be top on the list of that funding. We'll get the street grant next year. If y'all wanna take some money, you have to do this, you have to take money out of your CD that renews on the 4th month. If y'all want him to come down and give you a price on the 2 roads that have been brought to the attention that's worse shape right now, is Hilltop and, Republic Lane. The rest of them can be patched. I know we got, county line's bad, but it's gonna get next year. Do y'all wanna look at doing that? If you do, it's gonna be over your budget, you'd have to take money out of your reserve. That's up to y'all. Y'all just need to tell me if I need to work on it. If you don't work on it, that don't bother me. But those, and if you got another one,
Hilltop's gotta have some help, county line's gotta have some help in the near future. Republic, I have not actually seen it, but I'm.
It's terrible.
It is.
if there was something else you wanted to look at, if y'all wanna do this, y'all need to tell me what you need Jim to look at, and he'll measure the footage out, and we'll bring a price back. If y'all wanna do that, that's up to y'all, cause this is gonna be taken out of reserve, it won't be taken out of your budget for this year.
Most of the time, what will that price get you?
I don't know. I'll have to get him married, cause I don't know the square footage on those roads. Republic's pretty good long, Republic's pretty long.
It's pretty long.
At one point, the state was actually putting it down cheaper than we could buy a load of it for.
He said he'll work with us on what the state bid was last year.
Yeah.
Now, that's up, I can ask Eford how much that's up, cause he's looking at these bids coming in, and I'll get him price of tonnage just like he did last year, and we'll look at what his bid was. And I'll go to the state and make sure we're staying there.
Yeah.
If y'all wanna do it that way, if y'all don't wanna do it that way, y'all tell me what you wanna do. If you don't wanna do anything, that's fine with me too.
What's your thoughts, Jimmy? I mean, all he's gonna do, basically, tonight, we're gonna prove something, give us a quote, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if we do it, we'll.
If you do it, you'll have to take money out of your CD that renews on the 1st and
I
4th.
make a motion, we get a quote, that'll give us time to think about it.
Okay. Y'all, and if you want any other streets in those 2 looked at, those are the 2 worst besides county line and if we don't wanna mess with the bid on county line, cause we've already got a grant application in written, we don't wanna change that. Cause we're at the top of the list on getting that funded next year. No, I really would like you not to bother county line because we'll get that grant and we can do that work next year on county line. And you could wait on this and put it all with that bid next year.
Besides that, your brother moved down that road, and it won't pave his road.
Can we push this off to the next meeting?
As far, well, I can get the guy to get you bid, you're not
Yeah,
gonna
I mean,
doing
just a
it.
bid,
Yeah.
not approve it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're not gonna prove me to do it, I'll bring you a bid back.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, that gives me time, I can go look down the road.
second his.
Right now, we just have a motion for a quote.
Yeah.
And if there's more roads than that you're wanting to look at, you need to tell me, so I know what to tell the gentleman, so he can
We
get you a
gonna
quote.
be here.
Huh?
We gonna be here.
My thoughts was once we got the quote, we might, if we were gonna move forward with it, is, like you were saying, or we could look at some different streets and say, okay, yeah, cause I know they have to move their equipment and everything, we can say, yeah, we'll give you the job, but we want this quarter-mile stretch done along with the 1-mile stretch.
You're gonna get the cheapest quote to tell him what all you want up front,
Exactly.
so he knows
Yeah,
how,
right.
cause moving cost is a cost in there.
That's my idea, yeah.
And if you want more than those 2 roads, I just need you to tell me, if you want him to come down and do it, I need you to tell me what you want him to look at.
Will you let us know before he comes?
Well, y'all need to give me a list, cause he said right now I could, not tomorrow, but he said before summer gets here, when he goes to pea graveling, he ain't got no time, cause he does all the pea graveling he can do for all the counties statewide, and he quits paving when pea gravel season is. He said right now between now and pea gravel time, I have some time I could pave that's open right now. He paves between the window now and, what is it, July, when they start pea graveling, and they got a July and August, is only 2 months of pea gravel. he chip and seals for all the counties statewide.
All right, so we got a motion and a second to get approved. Carrie Brady. Jimmy Clark. Chris Wood. Alan Moore. All in
If
favor?
y'all got any other roads that need to be looked at, y'all need to let me know, okay? Sir,
What needs to be?
that's what possibly could need to be replaced on sewer. That really don't help you unless you know, that's all the sewer, that's not all the sewer lines in town, that's just all the areas that we identified as first need to be checked, because it's the main trunk lines and where we know some truss pipes at. If all that, if some of that's gonna come back to being replaced. Back when, I guess Austin was mayor, right, when, Cecil was here, they did some sewer line replacement that there was no paperwork done on. And so you go out there and pull manhole covers on, I don't know where it's at. And then there's some of the stuff that was on the truss pipe that has had to be replaced without work showing it's been replaced, because you had a section of pipe bad, the city's replaced some of that, and we're having to check all that to know. We're not just gonna go out there and replace sewer main because it needs to be replaced.
Rather than there, we're supposed to come in and expand, widen the road.
Correct.
The street as well, and then make a curve over in my yard. And I know this green line going down, goes right through my house.
It won't go right through your house, but it's gonna be right up in the front yard where the line main is today, if that needs to be replaced. I think that's clay pipe right there, and I think that will be replaced. If it's clay pipe, it's coming out of the ground, because it's 70 years old.
About 2 years ago, they came through from closer to Broadway, and went through about 5 yards, including ditches on the house, put in brand new plastic.
And whatever that's been replaced. Now, if you got a section from one manhole to the next, 300-foot section, but you got a half-a-mile strip that's gotta be replaced, that'll probably be replaced, because to get your grades right, they'll probably start over.
We're not
You just
gonna
gotta
make you evacuate.
We're not, yeah, and I can't tell you right now, Mike, if all that's been replaced, it won't be replaced. I don't know, that's the problem we've got. We've had a lot of problems where you had problems with a section of pipe, instead of getting an engineer to come engineer it, they just went and replaced it through the years. So you got some stuff replaced that's not showing to be replaced, till we go check it, and then we'll evaluate what's gonna be replaced. There's no need in spending money where they got good piping, no need to borrow the money for that.
Some of our water and sewer was conceived at the roundabout what it looks, what you trying to say?
No, that got redone, when it got redone, rather than getting an engineer to redo it, they just did like a manhole to manhole, and replace that section. 'Cause to me, there's no need to get an engineer in that, but now when you come up to the time of what's been done, and what hadn't been done, it's gotta go be looked at again, cause nobody remembers all that. Okay? All right, we have some people supposed to be here on the park committee, and they're not here yet, that was wanting to do the park committee.
Let's use that 5 or 10 minutes for executive session on personnel right fast. If we can, or you will not.
No, that's fine, y'all got something on personnel, yeah. Make a motion.
59, Alan made a motion to go into executive session. Jeremy seconded it. Carrie Brady. Jimmy Clark. Chris Wood. Alan Moore.
Look at that, we got parks and stuff to talk about here in a minute. Is that more luck? All right.
I was wanting to ask for executive session for the paper's note, or however they need to do that, or legally. It was just, causing some personnel thoughts around among the council people, and that was the extent of it, as I see it. Is that right?
Talk about personnel.
Yes, sir.
That motion come out of executive session? Second,
I'll second.
roll call.
So who made it, Jim seconded it, or Chris? 742, Carrie Brady.
Aye.
Jimmy Clark. Chris Wood.
Aye.
Alan Moore.
Aye.
Okay, we're out of executive session.
All right, park committee. You here for that? There's been some question, with, all the league balls that are playing, about not having a place to play in Glenwood and not being able to use City Park. I want to get that cleared up, and I'm more than willing, I'd like to get a committee set up, working on, the biggest thing we've got going on in that park is the ball players that want to play. I've talked to the school on the school's fields, and we can use those either, whoever the committee is, they want to use those, they can use those also, as well as the city parks. We need to get some kind of organization, on the usage of those. Now, and it really, I'd like for y'all to let us get in a committee, and then the committee set the scheduling for those fields. What you got, T-ball, who all want to play up there?
You got Cat Hills and Center Point, right, Jesse?
Yeah.
And,
For T-ball,
all right,
softball,
huh?
for T-ball, softball, and baseball.
T-ball, softball, and?
Baseball.
Baseball. The baseball field, for those of you who don't know it, the schools, that was baseball and softball, right? Somebody went up there and burned the concession stand down, they burned the bathroom down. Well, we all knew about that. When it comes to us, Brett and I went up there and mowed the other night. Field hadn't been mowed in 2 years. Guess what? They burned the bleachers down and they burned the dugout. You got one dugout left up there. This is why having stuff up there where the kids roam around, and City Park up there is a disaster, because everything.
I would like to say, you, will recall our conversation that I've mentioned a time or two. I know we've talked about it that day, but what I would like to see the city do, we co-op with Jenkins comes to mind, to do a certain thing or whatever. I would like to see us, put it on our radar as a council that someone that uses the park on a regular basis, whether they be a 75, 80-year-old senior or 45-year-old person that jogs every day or something, figure out some kind of way to co-op with them, not as an employee of the city, but as a subcontractor, and we state in effect, we're gonna give you the keys to this place, and you're responsible for at least helping us look after this place. We're gonna pay you $500 a month or something, supplement your income or something, and not mow it, not weed it, not clean it, not anything, but just, they use it, they're there, obviously gonna be there anyway, and then, we could figure out what was a fair amount, and then they would, at least, cause more than likely, the 1% is screwing it up for the 99%. It's probably the same kids, or the same people from the same family that's messing stuff up, and then you get discouraged from a mayor's perspective or a council perspective, we can't dump no more money in there because it's just all going to waste anyway. But it's ridiculous when, we're approving $1 million here and $1 million there, and we can't put a net up, we can't do a few little basic simple things. In fact, my kid, the senior at OBU, my little one, his daughter, and she was talking just yesterday about how fun pickleball was. And then I know your church groups, a lot of your church groups around there would love to use our parks if this park appears in a little bit better shape. But it don't really, the complaints that I've heard from over the course of a few years have not been that we need this, we need that. They've been just basic complaints down to, probably you could have took $500 and fulfilled all their needs, nearly. And, it's just the same old, like, put a net up, somebody jerks the net down. They put paper in the bathroom, somebody takes the paper out and makes a mess, and so, I don't know if that right person's out there or not, but it's possible they are, so that's just a thought.
What is going on, you're running the youth association, or what are you?
I'm just the T-ball part of it. Of the youth association.
Okay, who's doing the youth association?
There's a board.
This board is doing it?
BJ Johns is the president.
But they're using Amity's facilities, and they're not doing anything in Glenwood, correct? So, y'all are just using Glenwood Park for the T-ball right now.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to get a group to talk and come back to us and make a presentation of how y'all wanna use that? The council's not gonna have time to go up there and do all that. I mean, as far as getting it mowed and that stuff, we can do that, I think, but if you bring me a list of I need $5,000 worth of stuff done, that's probably not gonna happen this year, but, you know, there's ways to get things done up there where we can use those fields without spending a bunch of money right now.
When I was over at County River Baseball Association, we used it too. Only stipulation was we just kept the trash picked up. And we let, you know, we did our own schedule. And it was mowed by the city.
You talking about the ball field that is the school ball
Well,
field?
no, we used the park too.
Well, I understand that. I mean, I could've swore I seen T-ball people out there playing
Yeah.
here the other day.
I had no problem with them playing down there. I think they need to.
Yeah.
I talked to the school board, and the school board voted last night, the baseball field, all the fields up there, you got those on the left as you go in, that's never been fully developed, but you could pay some T-ball on those, and the baseball field, they're ours to use,
Oh, the ones in front of the old school.
in the old baseball
Yeah.
field. The school's not gonna put any money in
It's
it.
got backstops up there already.
The backstop's good, there's a backstop up on that one, on the left, there's a backstop or two up on those little T-ball fields that were never developed. If we could get y'all to, I mean, they could be clean and usable, they're not, I mean, I'm not saying the city got money to go up there and spend thousands of dollars on them, we don't have that, but as far as keeping them clean, that's not, we'll talk to the county, and they're willing to let the 609, whatever it is, come up some and help us on the parks to get them cleaned up and used, they're gonna do that. Don't have a date yet, but Travis has said he's gonna work some dates out with us, and so getting them cleaned up and usable is something very doable. We need some organization other than sitting at this council meeting and tell y'all how to use it. We can't do that, right? But we're more than willing to listen. If y'all bring us something and get a committee together and come to us and tell us, let's start working, I think we can do some of that. You think you can get another group back? I know you kinda got caught on the spur of the moment because your brother made you come up here, but,
Yeah, I do think I have enough people that I can bring to them.
if y'all would get a plan together, that being, the school has gave permission to use their fields, they're not ours, but they gave permission to use those fields, and they said that in the minutes, they said, do we need to put that in the city of Glenwood's got permission to use them, or the association? I said, I don't care how you put it, the association is the one gonna use them, but the school's open for that, they're not gonna go up there and spend a bunch of money on it, but we can use the fields, if somebody wants to make improvements on it, I mean, you could use that, one of the trees, when you burn the building down, burn a tree down until the power line down the first baseline. I think that could be put back up, but even if you didn't put it back up this year, roll wire up, hang it up on the pole, start using it again. It hasn't been used in 2 years.
Yeah, we used.
There's no need in spending a bunch of money on it to see if you're gonna use it, but clean it up, start using it this year, come up with a better plan for next year,
Are you
right?
wanting to use the park too? Is that what you're after?
They're using the park right now, right, for the T-ball. We're using that for the T-ball. But there's not, nobody
I'd love
said
to
who's
see
got
our-
time to use it and all that, and
Well,
I
and the
think,
main thing with T-ball really can do anywhere, anytime, honestly, because they're little. But our baseball and softball are only going to Andy because they have the lights, they have the field, the bases, all that stuff, and they don't want to come to the park with big kids because they practice late at night, so they don't have anywhere. So the whole schedule, these kids are out until 9 o'clock at night practicing when they should be asleep, all of them. But they're fighting over this one field on certain days 3 times after school, especially since school's getting out later. So if they had another field or any other field, it would break it up a little bit, and at least some of these kids would go home
you
at a
can,
normal time.
if y'all will get back with us, I'll go run a city mower after ours. I mean, I think I can,
Yeah, but if we're talking about up there at the school, the only thing we can do up there
Is
is
mow it.
just mowing weed eating. I mean, we can't go over and spend a bunch of money on bleach. It's not our
not,
property.
I'm not asking that, if you wanted to use it, could y'all use it that way, if just mowed, cleaned up, and made usable? I mean, because I'll give you there's 2 fields up there on the school property that y'all could
We
use.
just need practice facility.
Yeah.
And then if that needs to go further than that, figure out a way for y'all to get some funding to do some fundraisers and put some money in it.
To me, if you're gonna put a committee together and all, say, 3 different, I'd go to all your sports associations, and that would be the people that I would have on there, just pick a few out of each one. That's what needs to
I
happen.
talked to the president of Cattle Hills Youth Association, and They have a meeting later this month, but they're definitely interested in using the field.
Okay? If y'all can get with them and get with the, what's the association that the Glenwood kids are in? Center Point? Come back with a proposal to us and, I mean,
If I'm not mistaken, Billy, it's your job to appoint committees as mayor, and so you just need to get with her and appoint whoever you think on a committee basis, is the way I
y'all
understand
won't do it. I'm fine with working with you, we just need to get something going. I mean, everybody keeps saying, I don't want any committees. Guys, committees are welcome.
it. And the committee's gotta go through the council anyway, so.
Yeah. But there's some stuff to do to get those fields back usable without spending a lot of money, and then next year, if they need more done to them, okay, go up there and build a dugout. It won't take much to put the dugout box back up. It was about 8 4x4s and what, dugout 20 foot long, 6 foot long, 10, 20 foot long, put a roof back on it, and they could play safely up there. Wouldn't have any place to sit, wouldn't have any bathrooms right now. But, I mean, bathrooms can be put back up, but that's not us, the city's not got money to do that over there, but, I mean, there's ways we could work it. I mean, I'm gonna ask some plumbers, if they wanna use it, I'd go up there and have them do plumbing on it. You know, on my time. Other people would volunteer to do some of that too, if that's what they want. We need to get it back open, y'all just need to get back with us. So, next month, if y'all can talk to both associations that are needed, and tell me what committee we need to appoint, get a committee appointed and get back.
In the meantime, I mean, I feel like I need to ask, on my own time, if I were to use like, to get that tree out and stuff like that, would y'all be okay with me using city equipment to get, you know, like the skid steer or something like that, to get like the trees out? And
There's about 3 trees up there that's burned, it's gotta be, they didn't fall down yet, but they're burned 3/4 of the way in two. I don't understand. One of them's fell already, broke the power line.
Is it on school stuff, on school?
I don't see why we can't
School's not-
volunteer.
school's
to
not
help
gonna do
help take
anything.
care of that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't see no reason we can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, it's time for my drum roll.
Okay,
Oh, it's not? Oh.
all right, did I get that answer? Brent has got before you, and he's gonna have to explain what he's wanting to do, and I don't know what it's about, but Brent's got something down there.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what this 124.
Brent, fire department.
So,
You're welcome.
as of right now, the fire department has, 4 SCBA packs, or 8 SCBA packs, which is what we use to breathe in house fire. They're 8. All the other bottles are bad.
It's something we used to have 12 or 14.
They're all of them are bad. Every year, we're losing bottles because they crystallize inside, and like the survival airs, can't hardly get parts for them anymore because they don't make them anymore.
So what are we doing with our Act 833 money?
That's my fixing ask.
Okay.
This company will lease these bottles out, or well, we'll buy them, make payments on them with our Act 833 money every year. It'll come out to almost all of our Act 833 money, which is government grant money we get every year. That will go, we can turn around, I can put it towards that. I have to tell them what I want every year. I can put it towards that, and we'll use it for 5 years, is what it'll be. And we'll pay them 14 bottles off, and we'll have brand new SCBA packs.
$424,000.
That's the cheapest packs we got.
We need, 28 bottles.
Spare bottles for 14 packs, that's every slot you got on the trucks. And for ISO, you gotta have, for a fire truck, you've gotta have all your slots full of SCBA's.
8 or 16, and what do you got on the other trucks? What's the other truck that y'all just got? How many's it got on it?
5.
So it's 21, and then spares, you'll need 26.
So, it is, they say we have to have them for every spot on the truck.
Which, the 2 commercial pumpers, which is the 2 red ones,
Yeah.
they hold 3 people, but they've got 4 slots.
You got 4 packs on each truck,
And then 4
and
spare
then you got
bottles.
4 spares on the truck. You got 2 on one side, 2 on the other. That's how they are. That's how they're made.
And then the new truck carries 5, because it's got 5 SCBA's in it.
14 masks, because you have 14.
Let me ask you a question. How many, I know you're short everything, but you've got some of the other equipment that's still good. Could you do half of that, so you didn't tie up all your Act 33 money for 5 years, and then come back and do another 5?
I can't.
Half of that
Are
the
your
next
units
time?
bad or are your bottles bad?
Well, the units are all expired, but the bottles are going bad, quicker than I can change them out.
So basically we just need to replace mask
Well,
and bottles.
but you've got half your packs are survival air and half of them are Scots.
I understand,
And-
we were trying to go towards survival air, but apparently it's,
And your, you know, half your Scott packs are the old, you know, I'm talking about the wire ones?
I know.
So they're, what, 80s?
Gary was working on it, trying to switch them all out.
And when we could do half and half, I mean, that's,
Do you have to have, I mean, if you might say, you have to, buy what I'm getting at is, can you not just buy the mask, so many masks and have them where people just grab, or do you have to have one per bottle?
you
Your,
don't have one per pack.
your $6,000 is one complete unit. $6,000 a unit is what those are costing. That's the mask and the pressure regulator and the bottle, right?
Well, down here, no, it's saying that, around here, you're paying for 14 masks.
Yes, the masks are separate.
Also, okay, so if you buy $6,000, you gotta have a $548 mask to do
Because,
it.
I mean, you're gonna have 14 guys put a mask on going to fire.
No, but you gotta have them on the truck. You gotta have a mask for it.
If you got a spot for it, it has to be.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
Just how it is.
But if you had 7 or 8, if you did 8 of them, how many trucks, you got 3 trucks?
Yep.
Put an equal amount of numbers on them and not do the full, that'd be my suggestion.
I mean, we can do that, I mean.
How many you got working right now?
One.
Good packs working.
Hey,
This part right here, it says the
and
holders too.
questionable on the bottles, cause I gotta have my bottles tested.
I got you.
I don't know what I'm gonna end up with after they test them.
Is this the unit that you put on your back, right there?
Yep, that's the bottle and the pack.
And,
But you gotta have a
and the
mask.
regulator.
No, that's just the pack, sorry. That's just the pack.
And regulator.
Yep.
It takes $6,268 plus $548 for one,
Scott's for
Pack.
1,000 pack.
and then it takes,
Yeah, they got.
the
they got
bottles
figures.
are $1,000 a bottle.
Alright, before, have we looked into seeing if there's any grants for any of this right now?
We've applied for FEMA grants. That's the last 3 FEMA grants I've applied for, has been for packs. Packs alone, just packs and Phil, can't think of the name of it right now, but something else. There's another grant coming up through forestry that they're supposed to release, but it's only.
Forestry's only for your
It's
blower packs,
urban.
your
Well,
rates,
it's
your.
a new federal grant, but it's only urban interface.
Yeah.
We get a new fire truck with it and it's 100% grant, but they're not gonna buy packs.
So if you have 8 right now, but you don't know how many, when you get this,
They're up for testing. I just talked to the guy the other day and I told him to hold off because the more I take off the trucks to have tested, the less I've got on, 3 over here doesn't have any packs on it at all right now. I'm out completely.
this is the only person that you got for the potion.
No, I can get
That's the
Scott
cheapest
packs,
one we
but
got.
they are way,
Or $3,000 more.
yeah, a Scott pack's running 3,000 and I think MSA is like 2,000 per pack.
So we used to have MSA too.
I like MSA, but they're right there with Scott now, they come up.
Let me ask a question, what if you did 9, 18, and 9, and then you gotta have a 1 adapter? And that would cut that down to where you wouldn't time it, it'd give you a little bit of slack in your.
What did we get last year after the 31st? I've seen it, but I don't.
Last year, another
department.
department in file, we got 32,000.
Do what?
30, wasn't it, about,
25,
that's what our usual is, about 25, but last year we got 32.
32.
Because I think Kirby and Lodi didn't apply.
They didn't apply, yeah.
So, but if that's it, everybody in the county applies like they're supposed to, we average about 26,000 a year. So,
9 would give you 3 new units on each truck,
yeah,
and
I
2 new
mean,
bottles on each truck. and
We
then
can
make
survive
those-
with that. Right now, we got 8 units and we need 8, 13, 14.
and that's the thing is, I mean, like FEMA grant, when you do FEMA grant, we were doing FEMA, grant, I had to have 19 bottles. or 19 packs, cause you gotta have one for every seat of every truck that the fire department owns.
What about extra bottles? What do you have that's good now?
Right now, they just ended up pulling, I think, 3 bottles off of engine one survival airs because they are leaking.
Yeah.
So I've got 1 spare bottle for 4 pack, or 5 packs on that truck.
Basically splitting the thing, according to the way that I understand y'all, splitting the thing in half would at least buy some leeway and some time.
It would get us some packs on some trucks, and we'd be able to fight fire and go in like we're supposed to. And I would feel a lot more comfortable. I mean, that fire at we did a fire at Palestine the other night. He got in there and the regulator blew it, not the regulator, but the seal in the bottle blew out as he was fixing to go in. It's gotten to the point that I stretched it as far as I can stretch.
We used to be able to send those bottles off and have them repaired. Can we still?
They're aged out.
They're just
Some
aged out.
bottles are over date stamped and they don't,
Most of those bottles are running 05 to 07.
Okay.
And
I understand.
I think 5.
There should be 4 units that's not that old though,
I know your MSAs aren't that old.
because we got them right before,
Yeah, your
they've
MSAs,
been 6 or 7 years ago.
your MSAs aren't that old, but I don't have spare bottles to it. That's what Gary was carrying in his rig, and there was another one on
Yeah.
another truck. So,
I say that, I say we try to split it up, and then we can do that 2 years in a row, and you'll be,
and I mean, I can turn around and, you've got like,
how much is the
fire
interest on these? If you-
well, this is the total price. My choices are to either go to a bank or use their leasing company, and that's something else I have to bring up. I mean, it's a whole other, thing with them.
We used to couldn't finance for 5 years with anything. I'll have to check and see if.
Well,
Change
if you
the-
cut this back to 9/18, 9/1, and go 5 years, you're still not affecting the city's budget, because you're still using his Act 833 money, which technically he can spend his Act 33 money any way he wants to without asking us. That's the chief's money.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't gonna do it without, just letting off first.
The Act 833 money is not in city budget. And that's what he's asking to spend on it, but I would like to see him not tie all this.
we gotta
money
do
for 5
something
years.
with it. Really.
I make a motion, we do the half, split it down the middle, do the half, try to get
That's
some
gonna get you
quotes
back in operation.
accordingly.
And you'll actually have a company and say,
Half is only 7,
You need 3 per truck.
so the 9.
What Billy said is what I'm making a motion for, because Chris act like that suited him, and to be honest with y'all, I ain't gotta tell you what you're talking about.
It's what you wear on, so you got something to breathe when you're in fire.
I know, but we.
It's only
have to
safety thing, it's a big
compliance.
safety thing, you
it's a
can't,
huge thing.
don't need to go in a building without one of them.
It's gotta be done, but
You've been on the fire department for how many years, Jim? So you're familiar with the fire
Well,
department?
yeah, I mean,
He's familiar, he's familiar.
Do I have a motion to do
What you
9,
said, yeah.
9, 18, 9, and 1?
no, I need.
yeah, I know, wait a minute. I would like for you to get back with a little bit more information on this stuff. Whether we lease from them or whether we try to do another route before we just
That's
do
what
that.
I mean.
I wanna know, because I don't wanna get into something that we're gonna have to pay 15% interest on. I'm just throwing a number out there, I'm just saying. We may have to go with a different company, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure your interest is going on 5%.
Well, delivery is kind of a pretty big variable
It won't
there.
take you very long to get that
I can
information.
have it tomorrow.
You said tax and freight
Call.
to be determined,
To be
that,
determined.
that's a little bit too, how they figure their freight on the percentage, or they figure it on the, that's, so, yeah, some solid numbers based on what you said was what my motion was for. And then we can make a move.
If he's gonna finance them, what percentage interest rate, so we don't have to bring it back before the council?
Well, them leasing companies are high, man.
I'm not talking about, he's talking about, they've got, well, just go to the bank and borrow the money. You're probably paying 5.5%, 6%, what's the bank
It's
loan?
gonna be 8, probably 7 or 8 now.
Okay, so are you good with him borrowing the money at 8%? Can you do that in motion so he
If
can
it
move
comes down
on?
lower than the bank, I'm for it. If not,
Say
we go with
8%,
bank.
as long as his interest rate doesn't come in over 8%, are you okay with that? Can you
I
do
am.
that? Okay, and put that in the motion and it'll be, he can do his job if that's what y'all wanna do.
It's fine, as long as they come in under the bank interest.
Stick it in the
Well,
motion, stick it in the
8% or
motion.
less, if it's over 80, come talk to you. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got the
Put that in
motion.
motion, yep.
We got the motion.
You have a motion, have a second?
I'll second.
Motion second, roll call.
Kerry Brady, Jimmy Clark, Chris Wood,
Aye.
Al Moore, all in favor.
Thank y'all.
Yes, sir.
Joe Patrick, pickleball.
Yeah, all right. Alan, was it you said your daughter liked to, wanted to come over here and play pickleball?
Do what now?
You said something about your daughter at Washington, she wanted to go play pickleball?
No, well, she had just recently been in a playing pickleball Saturday with actually his niece.
Oh, okay.
And they was talking about how they enjoyed it, that's all.
Well, here it is, I just need to give a little background, because this thing is going crazy. I grew up in a tennis family, and we all played competitive tennis. I've never seen anything like this pickleball. I mean, it's like everywhere. Anybody heard of the, Twin Oaks, pickleball farm? That's in Bismarck. They're building 4 outdoor courts and 1 indoor. Mulberry, Arkansas is a little tiny town. It's got one of these small town grants from T-Mobile. They're giving them out all over the country, you know, for stuff like that. And it's just, it's crazy. And the thing about it is that people of all ages can play. I mean, the #1 girl player in the nation is 14 years old. She and her mother, and it's a double sport. They can play singles, but it's more popular because it appeals to all ages. Kay Reeves is one that started at the Nazarene Church. They're playing right now. People have gotten hooked when they come over there, so they're opening that up almost every day to play. It could bring a lot if we could get, let me tell you, Kay and I got together and she and I think a lot. Here's what she says. It's the fastest growing sport in America with 75,000 new pickleball courts this last year. Colleges are not only starting to play pickleball, but some are offering scholarships as well. There are several grants available to improve the community of small towns. Many of us feel using that money towards 4 pickleball courts on the existing tennis court area would be a blessing to the community. In less than 1 year, our pickleball group has grown from 1 to 3 players to more than 40. Last time y'all had a meeting here, I was teaching pickleball over at the Church of Christ, and they've gotten started. Pickleball is a community and family activity. It's not just something old people and retirees do in their free time. The age range in our group alone is from 10 to 86. I can verify that, I'm 84. So, you know, you know, and they're getting ready, the age, okay. A homeschool mom wants to learn with her son so they can start playing with the homeschool group. Private school will start teaching the game with PE as a class this spring. The rest of our kids go to Center Point. The activity is fun for all ages, and more families are playing because it's something they all enjoy. So if we could get 4 painted courts over here on the current surface and lights installed to come on from dusk to 10 p.m. Best case scenario, 4 courts on a fully resurfaced base, plus lights and a practice wall on the concrete area outside the fence. Those are things that she said that I agree with, we talked about. And you don't have to take any ground that will interfere with basketball or soccer fields or anything, just that concrete area over there. On that one tennis court that's not used, you could get 4 pickleball courts. Arrowhead is changing their outdoor basketball court to pickleball. They've got all the stuff to start doing that. Church, even the Seventh-day Adventist, is going to get help doing that. The grants are all over the place, and I've never seen any sport as popular as this. In Fort Smith, they've got it out at Camp Chaffee, and you have to line up to get on a court. They have 8 courts. It's just Mount Ida's a hotbed. There are tournaments all over the place in Hot Springs, and it's been going on over Hot Springs Village for over 10 years. I've talked to people from Maryland. They said we came to live in Hot Springs Village because of the pickleball. The fact that it's at so many levels and people all ages, like she said, 10 to 86 playing, it's a boon. I mean, I'd like to see it kind of like you have the beanbag thing at the Spring Festival, have a pickleball tournament too. And they could bring money in for tournaments. My son played the national tournament, and they have sponsors like this Wild Monkeys. You know, the Wild Monkeys is a new company in Oklahoma. They compete with Head and all the others, and they do very well. And Elon Musk invested a lot of money in it. Little Rock has invested $1 million in it. Burns Park has all these courts. I see them announcing at 7 o'clock in the morning. Well, the temperature's 30-some degrees. We're expecting people to come out and play pickleball outside today. It's just, it's crazy. It's addictive, believe me. And I don't need to do a sales pitch on it because it's just everywhere. If you watch TV, at least 4 times a day, there'll be a commercial with either pickleball being played in the background or in the foreground. It's the fastest growing sport that's ever happened because it appeals to all ages and it's easy to learn. That's my point. That's it.
So say they're doing grants all over the place for this.
Yeah, I think they are.
How big is that handball court?
It's bigger than what I was looking up here. Pickleball courts are 20 by 44.
Yep, the pickleball court is the same as badminton.
We tore down the handball deal, and we got a slab sitting there.
They took it down for it.
We get a grant.
Yeah.
There's a pickleball court. And we could still have tennis if we wanted to. We gotta put a net back up on it. Repaint the lines.
You know, you could still have the tennis net up there with the 4 pickleball courts. In fact, that would be good because it'd keep pickleball from going to the other courts if the net were up there, you know?
I'm all about saying we can get a grant for it.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
trying to.
I sent to the committee a few months ago all the information on buying equipment for doing all that. It's there in your records or somewhere. Like I say, this T-Mobile has its hometown grant. They've got 25 million, for 500 rural towns. And I think each grant is 50,000, but they only do 25 a year, so you gotta, you know, you have a chance. My hometown of El Reno, Oklahoma got one last year, so, and I think that's how Mulberry got it, so, you know, the grants have gotta be there. Also, this thing you sent out and said, what activities would you like to see on the park? And people check, and pickleball was listed. I know a lot of people check that, so I don't know if that has any strength or influence on what you do, but I just think it, you talk about things being burned out and all that. I'm sure that happens other places, but I don't see it happening in these places like Camp Chaffee and the places I've been, you know, where they're be kind of rural, but nobody talks about any vandalism, so I don't know what you could do about that. Like I said, it'd be good to have lights out there, it'd be good to have, you talked about having somebody just be out there to kind of patrol the area and monitor it or something. I don't know, it seems like having some kind of lights that would flash on or something, you
Some
know,
structure,
security
what I was
lights.
trying to get towards,
Huh?
some structure,
Okay,
just basically if something went wrong, someone would have a pretty good idea who done it,
okay.
you
yeah.
know, or what
Right.
groups, you know, something that would save us money in the long run, but anyway.
Anyway, that's.
Do you have the info for the T-Mobile stuff?
I do, right. Can I send that to the council?
Please.
Anyway, that's my point.
Well, involved with at least
Two.
It's only
I'm just
40,
saying,
it's only 20 by 44.
If we get a grant, put it in, let's try to get a grant, put it in.
I'm for it too.
I mean, you got a slab sitting over there doing nothing.
And that's not involving tennis court.
Well, you know, I marked it off 2 courts the wrong direction, actually, because it's into the sun, both in the morning and evening. They need to be turned, and then that goes the length of the court, 2 side by side and 2 more. And they'll barely fit, but they will fit. And
So
yet
you
that's
get
why-
4?
That's on the tennis court. you're
That's
talking
on the
about.
Man, he's all talking on the tennis court.
Right.
I'm like those tennis courts, get
I
the
would too.
handball court.
If that handball
made
court's
for-
sitting there and it's not used and it's big enough,
Yeah.
I don't know why we wouldn't,
I know it's.
because it's
big
just a
enough.
slab sitting there not doing anything.
Let's see what we can do on that,
Yeah.
because I think we're all pretty much, I ain't heard
Okay.
Terry saying.
There are a lot of people in the community would appreciate that, I know, because they just keep showing interest and, you know, when they go over to the church to play, they've got 2 courts. Well, that's 8 people, there's gonna be 18 that'll show up. So we gotta wait around to play, and besides that, if warmer weather's coming on, time to get outside and play. you know, and that's what a lot of them, I mean, I've got macular degeneration, I don't see well inside anyway, so.
One thing, okay,
Yeah.
if we find a grant, let's work on that, if we can't, we might, whatever, we need to work on the grant, see if we get somebody to go through, we got concrete down, so.
Yeah.
Every one of y'all, each one of you councilmen have a book in there on Burke's playground equipment. I talked to Mr. Burke, or not Mr. Burke, but the rep that represents them on our grant. He's one of the companies, he's a man of the company, he is the company he's been willing to come down. They're gonna give you a design for, playground of $125,000 to $150,000, what $125,000 playground will look like, what $150,000 playground will look like. They're gonna give you a design of the most used equipment that would be there. The only thing I ask you to do, the handicap stuff, this is all ADA, this playground all has to be ADA, but ADA means the person has to have a body strength. So a girl rolls up in a wheelchair to these things, or a boy, and they gotta be able to pull themselves up and go around. That will be the park you're building. He's gonna design one swing that a person, I keep saying girl, I keep saying girl, but a person could get in, that's in a wheelchair could get in and I could swing, and he's gonna put what they feel is a good, and get us some renderings back to look at what we're doing. Y'all look at that playground equipment, if there's a particular piece of equipment you'd like to see in there, y'all need to get back with me and he will show you, whether or not, you know, he'll show you, he can put that in and take a piece out if it's something different than you want. But he's gonna go ahead and get, playground set that would be $125,000, $150,000 that goes in the grant we've got. And, I mean, this, I'm not against the pickleball, I'm for the pickleball. We have a, but we have a grant to do this other playground, I can't take that money and use it somewhere else.
All right.
Okay, so I'm not neglecting what you're saying, but we did get
The pickleball is really high up on the priority here.
I understand that, but we have this other grant that we got grant money for, that we need to use it for what the money was used for, turn it back in. That's simple. So, if y'all will look at that book and get back with me pretty quick, because they're drawing, he should have us some renderings, back. And this has not been released, this is another thing that the governor has got to get back in state for. And then we gotta go up there for signing, our money hasn't been released on that, but it will be pretty quick. We'll need to be ready to go. If y'all want anything on the playground equipment,
Here's my thing on that, I understand that you're gonna get the price on 125 or 150, but what if we don't raise any money? We got $100,000 sitting there,
got 130.
so we gotta walk up.
No, the grant,
We ain't got the grant back yet, but.
you're gonna get, she's pretty sure you'll get that, so there's money in this fund.
Then we're covered, but I'm just saying.
I talked to the chamber, and the chamber is gonna help us, if we want to go out and raise some money, because the chamber thinks would be nice to have $150,000, $175,000 park over there. It's really not a lot of equipment. It
I
sounds like a
will
lot of
say
equipment,
this,
but-
whenever we raise money for this,
You should start,
whenever we raise money for this thing, we don't need to sell them the money to give them a light bulb, because the prices, we need to be very transparent on what they're actually getting for $125,000, because the prices on this stuff is insane.
The rep from Burke, I called him, I saw him at the, municipal league meeting, I went around and looked at all those, a year ago. This is the only company that does their own, what do you call the mat on the bottom, impact material. They brought that in-house. They're half price on impact material what anybody else is quoting. Playground equipment is not gonna be any different. They're cheaper because they're doing the impact stuff themselves. So they're cheaper. And he come down, he lives at Maumelle, he come down, you have to bid the job, it's not, and you're gonna bid it to whatever spec of playground equipment you want. But just like he was talking to me, he said, just like it takes about 4 inches of, like SB2 or fines to come to the top. I said, we can do that at the city. He said, that's $3.50 a square foot off of the price of them installing it. We'll do that. I'm going out there and run a vacuum packer. I'll take a day or two off and put the 3 inches of that in for the, there's no need bidding that out with that in there, we can do that.
That's a lot.
And that'll make the money go a little further. But he's gonna get us a rendering of what we're looking at, so as we go out and start talking, this is what $125,000 gonna look like, this is what $150,000 gonna look like. I didn't go any higher than that.
We can look on that survey and see if it's a replacement.
Well, and it, you know, even on that survey, they say on parks you want pickleball.
No.
But this, we gotta get everybody to understand.
There's one on there about playground.
Yeah, but if this grant can't be used for pickleball, this grant can't be used at the old park. It's gotta be used at the park.
Specifically for what playground equipment that Lex
Just get them.
Right, and we'll look at that, and they're gonna show you that, you know, that's just like a swing. We probably will not put a swing in there. A swing takes from the center post of the swing, you gotta have impact material 16 foot behind it, 16 foot in front of it, and then if you use two swings, it's 10 foot, and then you gotta have 12 foot, and then you gotta have 12 foot on each end. Swing takes up so much area. So he's saying there's things we can get for kids, more kids to occupy and play on. Swing uses up way too, now swing's cheap to buy, $5,000 to buy you a 4-man swing. But then you got all that $20 a square foot for the mat material. And he's saying there's ways, but anyway, he's gonna get that. That's not saying we're gonna use him. It'll have to be bid. He's just come down, I'm just working with him. He's offered to do that, so. Any other thing we need to talk about? Yes?
You know, we haven't really talked about it in the council meeting yet, but we got a meeting later this week about the eclipse. It's less than a month away.
Why don't we just make everybody stay home?
Well, at this
Close
point,
Glenwood.
the schools are all closed, every one of them's closed for that day. We have they're calling it bad enough that I've got landings on every mile.
It's gonna be crazy, it really is. It's
I don't
gonna
know
be
if
nuts.
that's something everybody needs to have in the back of their mind. We had our last, emergency management meeting
Yeah.
Thursday night. So just, y'all keep it in mind and, you know, it's here, it's not.
So we've got some tents everywhere.
So that week of,
One thing I would like to bring back on our other subject before we leave, and I'm not being funny here, but, that guy you was talking about on this playground equipment, the resale on this stuff is probably not very good as far as like resale. There might be some city that he's privy to that just got this huge grant or some endowment or something that's putting in a magnificent deal and upgrading something that they just put into it 3 years ago, and there might be an option on the secondary market, I don't know.
I don't think we can use used equipment on this.
May not be able
And
to.
this, if I understand this fun park grant, you
Everything has to
can't
be-
use, you cannot use, the wood chips. This has to be the impact material that's gonna be there. And that's right, so your
Wouldn't hurt to
square
ask.
footage just comes down
I think what
a
he's
whole
talking about
bunch.
is the playground sets, not the material.
Yeah.
But I
No,
think
he's
the
talking
way
about the
this-
sets. I don't think we can use
Yeah,
used
I-
sets.
I don't know,
think we
but
can.
there may be there may be a part that you're talking about space. There may be some surplus equipment with this guy that he's privy to, where they were gonna do X, but they wind up doing Y, and they've got some stuff that, you know, there might be a
Well,
deal
he-
there available.
This got, Burks puts, some equipment on special up to 35% off. And when we get closer to a bid time, if there's a piece of equipment that we might want that's not in there, that you might look at some of that would help the cost of the playground equipment. But you don't know what pieces are gonna be on sale during that time. They have a sale just like everybody else does. And he said if it says it's on sale at Burks, it's on sale at Burks. It'd save you anywhere from 10 to 35%. But we gotta get somewhere to start moving. I've got a set of drawings coming. Anything else?
Nope.
Got a motion to adjourn.
Make another one adjourn.
Second, roll call. Terry Brady.
Jimmy Clark. Chris Wood. One more.
Oh,